Hey everybody. So today I wanted to do a deep dive on a brand that is really oversaturated out there. You see it everywhere in the thrift stores and 90% of the time it's really not worth picking up. And that brand is Columbia. So I thought we would dig into eBay, do a real deep dive, do some research, see if we can't find specific products in that brand that might be worth picking up. All right, so we're in eBay. So let's do a really generic search for just the word Columbia. All right, let's do buy it now, and let's do pre-owned. Okay, so there are over 300,000 listings, and let's look at solds just to kind of get an idea what the market size. So 300,000 listings and only 59,000 sold. So let's do that math. 59,000 divided by 300,000. So that's right at about 20% sell-through rate, which is really pretty bad. So let's see what we can find here. What stands out here? So we've got pants, we've got, there's a camo jacket, shorts, hoodies, t-shirts, these vented like fishing type shirts. There's another Columbia jacket. There's a puffer jacket. So let's look up jackets first. We are right kind of in the middle of winter, so all these numbers are going to be skewed a little bit for the winter time, and there's going to be a lot more jackets sold right now. So let's do a search for Columbia jackets. All right, let's go back to make sure I'm pre-owned. Okay, so Columbia jackets, 83,000 listed. And 22,000 sold. So that is right at about a 26% sell-through rate. So let's see if we can find specific things in the jacket category here that might stand out to us. So as I'm doing this research, I usually take notes and kind of look at keywords and figure out, hey, what's standing out? What's going to make this listing stand out over others? There's fleece, interchange, down, puffer, another puffer jacket, hooded nylon, whoops. Okay, there's another interchange, so yeah, let's write that down. Interchange. All right, there's another interchange. All right, well, let's just go ahead and look that up. Let's look up interchange. Okay, so let's go back to search Columbia interchange jackets. Make sure, I wish this would stay always. Okay, so we got 7,400 listed. Let's see how many are sold. 2,500. So let's see what that is. So that is right at about 34% sell-through rate, which is, we're getting a little bit better. All right, so let's go through these. So there we've got another puffer jacket, interchange, rain jacket, fleece lining, another interchange puffer jacket. Looks like puffer jackets, and we got to start looking at prices as well. All right, there's another. So puffer jacket seems to be the big thing with interchange. Let's maybe go in there and take a look at puffer jackets. All right. Interchange puffer jackets. All right. We've got 391 listed. And 144 sold. That's about 37% sell-through rate, which is not terrible. Let's see what kind of prices we're getting. 30, 35, 45. There's a Columbia puffer jacket. That one's looks like it's camo. Not a great title. There's interchange. So if you find a Columbia interchange puffer jacket, that might be worth picking up if you find it for a good enough price. Probably a lot better option than all those quarter zip, full zip fleece jackets. Those are just really oversaturated, and you're just not going to get a very good price for those. So let's take a look at the pullover fleece jackets. All right, I'm going to go back here to see what is listed. 2,800 listed. 681 sold. That's about a 26% sell-through rate. Not great at all. And let's look at the prices. 17, 16, 15, $6. There's a cool one, like a cool Aztec print for $20. This has got an Aztec collar for $45. That's nice. So Aztec is a keyword that we're going to look at. Yeah, $12, $11. There's another cool print. There's a keg fleece pullover, powder keg, $45. Aztec fleece, $20. Aztec fleece, $40. All right, so let's take a look at Aztec fleece. Type in Aztec fleece jackets. All right, let's take a look at what's listed here. Go back to used again. All right, we've got 93 listed. How many are sold? 43. All right. So now we're at about a 46% sell-through rate, which is actually really pretty good for Columbia, better than I thought we would find with these fleece jackets. Yeah, so if you find a Aztec fleece pullover from Columbia, it's probably worth looking up and checking it out. There's some pretty good prices. That's a really nice one for $70 there. Yeah. Yeah, I've got one listed right now similar to this, $15.75. It has not sold yet. Yeah, these are nice. So yeah, really look for this Aztec print in Columbia. I think you're going to do really well with these as opposed to the real generic black and gray fleece pullovers. All right, so that was fleece jackets, and we actually found a couple pretty decent items, I think, with that interchange puffer jacket and these Aztec print fleece jackets. Everything else really low sell-through rates, so probably leave those behind, but these would be worth it. All right, so let's take a look at just shirts, Columbia shirts, and see what we can find. Okay, let's go pre-owned again. Buy it now. So we've got 79,000 shirts listed. How many are sold? 10,000. That is about a 13% sell-through rate. Not very good. All right, let's dig in here and see if we see any keywords that kind of stand out. That we can do a little bit deeper searches here. So there's PFG Bahama t-shirt. There's a cool floral, only $9 though. You'd think that would go for a little bit more. That's kind of a nice shirt. There's PFG Bahama again. So PFG definitely we'll take a look at. Let's see what else we can find. Fishing. Yeah, you're going to see fishing shirts a lot in Columbia. There's a nice hunting shirt. We might have to look up hunting. Yeah, there's another hunting. All right, so we got PFG, hunting. All right, let's take a look at PFG shirts in clothing, shoes, and accessories. I don't know why it's giving us shorts. Let's look at our original inquiry. Thank you for helping eBay. Okay, pre-owned. All right, we've got 30,000 listed. Let's see what we've got sold. Okay, 6,500. That's only about a 22% sell-through rate. So again, not real great on the PFG. So let's see if we can dig deeper with the PFG style and see what stands out. We've got these PFG floral, not great prices. That one's kind of cool. What else do we have? PFG. There's a Bahama shirt. Super Bonehead. Great names. Bahama. There's Bahama again. Bluefin. There's Terminal Tackle hoodie, long sleeve. There's Terminal Tackle. Yeah, so Bahama, Terminal Tackle, Bonehead. Finding some keywords here. There's tackle shirt again. All right, let's look up tackle. Terminal Tackle. All right, PFG, Terminal Tackle shirts. All right, 163 sold. Let's check out the listings. So 577 listed. 163 sold. We're moving up slightly, 28% sell-through rate. Not great again. There's a hoodie. There's long sleeve shirts. Big graphics. Another hoodie. Another hoodie. Another hoodie. That's a cool one, $22. Print. All right, so terminal tackle hoodie. All right, we have 45. Let's make sure it's used. No. Okay, we have only 12 used hoodies. Let's see how many are sold. 19 sold. Hey, look at that. Hey, we're over 100% sell-through rate. Yeah, we found something that's worth it. Okay, let's take a look at these. Okay, yep. So the terminal tackle hoodies, it's $18. That one's for $30. $20. $24. Yeah, so if you find one of these Columbia terminal tackle real lightweight performance shirts with the hoodie has over 100% sell-through rate. That's really good, and you're going to get $20 to $25, it looks like, for these. So that is definitely an item to be looking for from Columbia. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other names, like that Bonehead shirt. See what we can find with that. So we'll go back here to pre-owned again. 1,700 listed. 329 sold. All right, Bonehead's not looking real good. And yeah, the price is $8, $9, 14 or 15. A lot of these plaid ones, maybe plaid. Let's check that out. Let's check out plaid. See if we can find anything. Plaid shirt. All right, 752 listed. $183. It's only about a 25% sell-through rate. So not great, and the prices are not real good. All right, so let's check out sizing, because sizes make a lot of difference in these shirts too. The bigger sizes usually sell better. I have sold quite a few of these Bonehead fishing vented PFG shirts, and I only pick them up if they're, like a 2X or even larger. I've sold them up to a 5X before. So let's take a look at sizes. Go back here to just the regular listings. All right, let's look at 3X. All right. So there are only 7 of these listed. How many are sold? 4. So yeah, there's not a lot of them out there, but definitely the bigger sizes are going to sell a little bit better. All right, let's take a look at some more shirts. We wrote down hunting, so let's search for Columbia hunting shirt. All right, used again. All right, we've got 2,600 listed. 592 sold. That's about a 23% sell-through rate. So again, not real good, but let's dig a little bit deeper, see what we can find. So camo. There's a nice orange reflective hunting shirt. And there's a cool hunting one with deer on it. Again, a lot of these orange hunting and shooting. Hunting, shooting. So maybe we got to look up some hunting and shooting. Seems to be a lot of those. All right, let's look up hunting, shooting shirt. All right, so 137 sold. Let's see, how many are listed real quick? 371, all right. Right back to the solds. Yeah, even the prices aren't that great. $15 to $20. Yeah, you're probably not going to find these for less than, $10. You're not going to make a lot of profit on these. All right, let's just go back to hunting shirt and let's change the price, the minimum price. Let's change that to $30 and see what comes up. Yeah, because if you're finding these from anywhere from $8 to $10, by the time you sell them for $30 and, whether you include shipping or not, eBay's fees, if you want to double your money, you really want to be able to sell them for right around $30. So let's see If we change that price to a minimum of $30, we've got 228 listed. Let's see how many are sold. 28 sold. So yeah, you're not going to sell a lot of these for over $30. All right, let's see what we can find in here. There's a wool blend for $224. Whoa, that's a good one. There's another wool Gallatin shirt, $125. A Gallatin wool. All right, looks like we need to look up this wool Gallatin shirt. They seem to be getting really good prices. All right, let's take a look at that. All right, Columbia wool Gallatin shirt. All right, back to used. All right, there are only 7 listed. Let's see what's sold. And 8 sold. Hey, we're over 100% again. All right. So we've got this Gallatin wool shirt jacket type thing. Yeah, the prices are great. Look at that. All of them are over $100 almost. All right. Well, we found another one in Columbia, over 100%. Not saying they're going to be easy to find, but yeah, you know what you're looking for now. Vintage Columbia Gallatin wool shirt. All right, let's go to another category. Let's do some pants this time. Columbia pants. All right, pre-owned again. All right, so there are 21,000 Columbia pants listed. Make sure we get the price back to 0. Sold 21,000 listed, 5,400 sold. It's about a 26% sell-through rate. All right, so let's see if we can find some keywords in here to dig a little bit deeper into the pants. What do we got here? All right, snow pants, chino, outdoors, hiking, convertible. Yeah, their convertible pants are pretty popular. When I first started out, I picked up a lot of these Columbia convertible pants. I've since stopped picking them up, but maybe we can see what the sell-through rate is on the Columbia convertible pants. All right. So Columbia convertible pants. All right, 3,900 listed. $1,200 sold. A little bit over 30% sell-through rate, which is getting a little bit better. All right, so there's a pretty high one. Silver Ridge convertible, $37. All right, Saturday Trail. Silver Ridge again. Yeah, so now you're getting into actual, the style names of the convertible. So if you know the style names, you should definitely be putting those in the listing titles. There's a lot of 2 for $43. So just a little trick in your search. If you want to get rid of the lots in your search, all you got to do is put -lot in your search, and it is going to remove all of the lotted up styles. Cargo pants. So I wonder if it's. So I know there's cargo convertible pants and just regular convertible pants. Let's see which one is better. So convertible was 1,000 sold, 4,200, which is about a 24% sell-through rate. All right, so let's put in convertible cargo pants. 2,500 listed, 448 sold. Only an 18% sell-through rate. So it looks like just the regular convertible pants have a better sell-through rate than the cargo pants, which surprises me. I thought it would actually be the other way around. All right, let's look up some other style of pants. Let's look up Columbia ski pants. All right, pre-owned. All right, Columbia ski pants. We've got 3,700 listed. 1,800 sold. And again, this is probably a lot higher sell-through rate than it normally would be just because we're in the middle of winter. Snowboarding pants. Snow pants, snowboarding. I've sold a pair of these Convert snowboarding pants. Convert titanium. That's a really good price there. Really cool pattern. Yeah, so decent sell-through rate on the ski pants, but it's very seasonal on those. So let's take a look at maybe sweatpants. I know there's a lot of Columbia sweatpants out there, joggers. Sweatpants. All right, pre-owned again. All right, we got 768 listed and 304 sold. So that's pretty decent. About a 40% sell-through rate, which is pretty decent for Columbia anyway. All right, yeah, but the prices just are not very good. Again, if you're buying these for, $8 to $10, which is, yeah, you're just not going to make a whole lot of money on these. So let's change the price again on these and see what we can find if there's any that are sold. So let's put in $30 as the minimum. All right, there's 94 listed. How many are sold for over $30? Only 16. Yeah, you're just not going to find too many Columbia sweatpants that sell for over $30. But you get the idea. All right, how about rain pants? Pre-owned again. Let's change the price back to no minimum. All right, so we've got 680 rain pants listed. Oops. By 339 sold. That's pretty decent. So that's right around 50% or so. So that's pretty good. So rain pants might be a pickup as well. Omnitech. Waterproof. What other keywords do we find in here? There's some more snow pants mixed in. Let's see a lot of different keywords for, Omnitech and Omnishade and all those Columbia sub-brands. Yeah, so Columbia rain pants might be worth picking up. I would definitely look them up if I find some of those in the thrift stores. All right, so that is how I do my research on eBay to try to find the right product, the right styles in specific brands. You may do it a lot different. I just wanted to kind of go through it and do a deep dive on a brand that's really oversaturated out there like Columbia. 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, you're going to pass that stuff up. But if you find that right style and the right product, it might be worth some money. We actually did pretty good. We found 3 or 4 pretty decent products with some pretty high sell-through rates. In the Columbia brand. That interchange puffer jacket, the Aztec prints on the fleece jackets instead of the real basic gray black fleece pullovers, that PFG terminal tackle hoodies. This shirt here that I've got on is just a regular long sleeve t-shirt. But if you find the hoodies, those have over 100% sell-through rate, so that's a pretty good deal. And then the convertible pants, which sell a little bit better than the convertible cargo pants, which is a little bit of a surprise. And then rain pants. If you find the rain pants, it's probably worth picking those up as well, at least looking into it a little bit more. Well, hopefully this was helpful to you. And if there are any other brands out there that you want me to do a deep dive on, leave it in the comments. I really like doing this kind of research. And if this was helpful to you, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming out with more videos like this. And we will talk to you guys next time. Thanks.